Welcome back everyone, this is MandoAllDay, back with another video, and in this video, I'll be doing an overview of Deathstroke Inc. Volume 2, the hardcover. I'll be talking about a little of the story, the art, and of course, if it's worth your purchase or not. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button to not support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. So, let's take a look at the front of the dust jacket, the spine, the back, and I'll do a full spread image of the dust jacket. It looks pretty cool. Alright, front of the book, the spine, the back, and this art is really cool, man. I really like this one. Look at that. That looks beautiful. Alright, now let's take a look at this book. And before I actually get started talking about the book, I want to clarify some things. So this is Volume 2 of Deathstroke Inc. And this contains issues 10 to 15. Volume 1 contains 1 through 7. Issues 8 and 9 are in the Shadow War book or story. And I'll have some images so you guys can kind of see what I'm referring to. But again, issues 1 through 7 of Deathstroke Inc. are going to be in Volume 1. And issues 8 and 9 are going to be in the Shadow War story. And of course, the remaining issues. I say remaining because I believe this is the last book, or issue 15 is going to be the last one for Deathstroke Inc., which is 10 to 15 in Volume 2. And I'm bringing this up because I want to clarify, because in a way it is a bit misleading. It really isn't, but it is in a way, because I bought this book thinking it was going to be about Deathstroke Inc., and it's actually not. Essentially what it is, it says right here, this is year 1. And the point of the gist of the story is mainly of Deathstroke in his year 1, aka the first year of being Deathstroke. And he's actually after the scientist who made him who he is today, who gave him the serum for he can regenerate health, regenerate his broken bones and so forth, and his first contract. And that is the mainly gist of the story. So you don't even have to read Volume 1. You can just literally get this book and you're perfectly fine. So if your question is, do you need to have prior knowledge? No, you don't. You can just get this book and that's it. They don't even mention anything about the Volume 1 story of Shadow War, nothing. It's literally just an introduction of Slade Wilson and we'll move forward from there. And I gotta say, I liked the story. I really enjoyed it. Essentially, like I said, it's just a rebirth, a retelling of Deathstroke's origin story. And it's fine. It really is fine. I was hoping for something more, but it's perfectly fine. But what I like about it is since year 1, you see Deathstroke struggle with himself. And then, like I said, it starts off with him being in the hospital where he volunteered for that program. They gave him his superpowers, per se. And you see Deathstroke struggle to live a normal life. Because, as we all know, Deathstroke is a badass. He's a soldier. So throughout the whole book, you see him struggle to be a father, be a husband, and you see him struggle just to live a normal life. Normal life meaning you live in a house in the suburbs with some, white picket fence, typical standard things. And you see him struggle with that, but also you see him like he has to do something, he has to get involved and take action per se. And so you see that dynamic between Deathstroke and Slade Wilson. Well, Slade Wilson trying to be a father, but also trying to be who he is. So he's a soldier, essentially. And the story progresses and twists and turns through this origin story of year 1. And I gotta say, I enjoyed it, man. This is a very short, by the numbers book, but I dig it, man. It's just a fun read. If you want to read a Slade Wilson Deathstroke origin story with a lot of action, this is it, man. You get a cameo in here from Green Arrow, and having Deathstroke and Green Arrow go at it one another is really cool. But for the most part, it's a pretty straightforward origin story. And like I said, I was hoping this would be like a Deathstroke Inc. Volume 2 story where it continues on from Volume 1. But it isn't. This is just this. Just the origins. It shouldn't be called Deathstroke Inc. It should be called Deathstroke Year 1. Because this is exactly what it is. But like I said, though, the story is pretty straightforward and I dig it. The art itself, it's good. It's clean looking. There are some cool images on here where, especially the fighting, we see a lot of blood, which just looks pretty cool. Now, I noticed the paper, it's like matte, but it's also like painted with glossy colors, if that makes any sense. Because I know with DC, well, they do a lot of the matte, the colors don't really pop. But with this one, it does. And I noticed that the feel of it feels like a matte paper quality, but also has like the colors on the art are kind of painted like with a glossy, if that makes any sense. For example, I'll show you. This is the new Adam Strange book, the deluxe edition. And this is a matte paper. Like, look at this actual matte. So the colors don't really shine very well. I mean, it looks good, don't get me wrong, but it's actual matte paper, so the colors don't really shine a lot. But on this one, though, the colors do shine pretty good. So I don't know if it's maybe my book that I got this kind of color on it on the paper quality, or maybe it's gonna be like this moving forward. If it is, I dig it. If not, well, maybe I just got lucky. Like I said, do you need prior knowledge? No. The pacing of it, it's about above average. Very few times it digs down to like below, like very, very few. I think like one page or two at most, where it's like below average. But for the most part, you're gonna be above average. I read this within an hour, and like I said, it's a cool origin story of Deathstroke. And of course, would I recommend it? Yeah, man, I dig it. This is a fun story. I can see people not wanting to read it because it's just the origin story of Deathstroke, and essentially it's a retelling of Deathstroke origins. So if you don't like that, then skip this book. For me, I didn't expect it, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless because, like I said, I wanted more of a Deathstroke Inc. I wanted to see where that goes, and this is not really that. But I still had a good time with it. And like seeing Deathstroke, seeing him struggle being a husband and father, but more importantly, see him being Deathstroke as how we know him, is actually really cool because he makes a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes on here. But again, this is year one Deathstroke. But overall, though, like I said, I dig it, man. I think this is a fun read. Have a good time with it. And if you're just bored, you want to read a straightforward, simple story, definitely recommend it. So Deathstroke Inc. Volume 2, Year 1, hardcover, I'll give it a thumbs up for me. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this book? Do you plan on reading this book? Leave it in the comment section below. As always, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the support channel, but to keep up to date and watch videos like this. Then includes an overview of Deathstroke Inc. Volume 2, the hardcover, and on to the next one.